Hi,
Sorry, I'm
Michelle.
always, when you message, I'm always getting ready to do the thing you're asking me about. So not really available.
Well, Michelle, I saw your message. I thought it was gonna lay one, but it's like 3:30. That's what Alan said. It's at 3:30.
You mean Sarah?
Yes, Sarah Allen.
Oh, okay. Who's calling me? Excuse me.
It's usually all those stupid robocalls.
All right. That's probably good for us to start. How do you feel, Andrew?
I'll give it another 1 minute. I thought I saw somebody come in and out. So
Okay.
So is your name Bernard? Okay, yes, he's not interested in talking.
no, he just came signed off. I think I'll be back. So,
All right. Excuse me. Remind me the name of your dragon, Daniel. I can never remember.
Yellow Tooth.
Yellowtooth. Okay.
He's got the yellow teeth.
Does that mean his last name is Redmouth?
Oh, maybe.
Is your dragon very fiery like all the other dragons, Daniel?
Yeah, he does. He's my buddy.
It's nice to have a dragon by your side.
Yeah,
You ever ride him to school a couple times before the pandemic?
he's not big enough. I don't go to school anyway. I'm not in school.
Well, maybe when you were younger, you used to ride him to save
Oh,
it.
when I was younger? Yeah, I didn't have him then.
Okay.
I've only had him for a few, like 2 years maybe.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. 2 or 3 years, I think.
John, I used to have this collection of snakes where you gave names for many years.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Is that the one that I got the snake at the that was like, it was all wrapped, like had like wrapped up, or like at the like the white elephant Christmas thing? Was that him?
No, because this was a long time ago, Daniel, before you
Oh.
knew us. So, I mean, I haven't played with those snakes in a very long time. It's just, there's a natural history and science museum in my
Oh,
city.
a plush or a real snake?
Oh, no, it's not a real snake. It's just a stuffed animal snake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
okay. Back. Say. Yep.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the origins. Snakes were somewhat kind of partially the origin of dragons, worms and stuff.
We're going to get started.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share with you guys, I'm a little low on spoons today. I'm not exactly sure why. I haven't figured out yet, but
What?
we're going to just do a half hour today instead of a whole hour because I'm feeling a little pooped out. So we'll begin though. We decided after talking last week and getting ready to do this month and knowing what we have ahead of us in January, that the best thing for today would be for us to discuss money and the holidays, right? Around gift giving and that kind of thing, and how it makes us feel, and sort of how we can do it intelligently, right? How can we do it in a money smart way? And handle the holidays. So that's what we're going to tackle today. And then in January, we have a guest coming in to be with us, and that is Hunter Hansen. He's going to be in talking to us and sharing the conversation with us in January. So Andrew, why don't you get started and maybe share some of your thoughts on holiday spending?
So I think it really depends, and I think holiday spending is different for a lot of different people. I think I personally hate holiday spending. I think it's all atrocious. I think it causes almost everyone just so much anxiety over, did they get the perfect gift? You have to go, you have to get all these gifts for people. And, and then there's sometimes just like the obligation of feeling like you need to give something. And, to me, it's just a lot of pretend. It's a lot of just like masking, right? Just being like fake nice, right? I mean, on one hand, a little bit you're supposed to, right? But again, on the other hand, I hate like the Secret Santas or the raffles or any of this. So I actually never let so this is actually 15 years ago. Sorry, I have like a short story. And we're Jewish, and there was just a Hanukkah exchange. We kind of do it all one day just because it's when everyone can get together for like the holidays. So we usually just do something around Christmas anyway. And we decided for the first year to do, I don't know what it's called, but everybody like picks a number and there's like 20 or 30 gifts to pick from. And then the order you go, and then you can take somebody else's gift, right?
Elephant, I believe it's called.
Is it?
White elephant.
Okay. So, well, whatever it was called, I hated it. So what happened was, like, this is like 15, 20 years ago. I got a Best Buy gift card, right? I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I like that. And so my aunt stole from me, because you're allowed to do that. She's like 80. She took a Best Buy gift card and gave me like something worse than Nordstrom, like something there's no way I could, like a 15-year-old boy could use, right?
Right.
Like, and she's like, oh yeah, and I don't even like Best Buy, but this will be an easier gift to somebody else. And I can't, it was just like the most, like, I mean, I think she's a little, now I'm remembering these Zooms are recorded and there's a chance my aunt could watch it, but I'll admit this. I'll never let her forgive it. So,
Yeah, that's just bad.
Yeah, it's bad. So
Yeah,
it's really
very
funny
bad. I can't believe
though.
people do that type of shit.
Yeah. So actually what I did though is for personal reasons, I didn't go to another, not just that reason, by the way, there were other reasons. I didn't participate for another 10, 15 years. So I come back into my mom's side of the family and we do it again, and they're doing it again. So I went out of my way to purposely steal from my aunt every gift that she got. So I kept going. So I stole like what she picked like 4 or 5 times.
Oh my God.
So they had to like change the rules where you could only steal from the same person once, because I didn't even care. Like I'd like to think that I really don't hold grudges, but you know, in that instance, especially, right? It was very much like, I mean, come on. Everyone thought it was hilarious.
Right.
Like everyone was laughing so hard, except me and my aunt, who were dead serious because she was pissed. And I was super thrilled.
There's nothing funny about that situation.
No,
it's a
but
tough one.
getting her back 10, 15 years later, just taking
Well, getting her back, I feel like that's
Yeah.
good riddance for that.
But like, it's like one thing to like take the gift, but it's all about like, you know, there's no spirit to it anymore, right? It's
Right.
not, you know, I think so many people just give a gift because they feel they have to, right? You have to literally just check a box, check it off your list. And I'm not saying that holidays aren't good, that it isn't good to have a reminder to appreciate people and do it all at once. You know, we get too busy, right? You know, et cetera. But then you just have so much family coming over, opening stuff people don't want. You have to pretend that you like something when you don't, which is hard for everyone on this call.
Yeah.
Like my wife will currently like pre-warn me, like, okay, here's what my sister-in-law got you. And again, I realize this is now being recorded. My wife will probably listen to it. Hopefully nobody else in my family does. But you know, it'd be like, you have to be really nice, right? You have to be really nice that, you know, you got the, you know, that the gift was, you know, she thought about it. Even if you don't like it, you can return it. And I'm like, couldn't all of this effort just be spent on something better? I mean,
Right.
I do like getting, like, let's say like my wife, like a gift that she's not going to buy herself that I know that she wants, right? But a lot of the time, and sometimes it's nice, you know, to get something that you're not going to buy for yourself, but that's not too expensive, and you buy that for other people. In a way, it can be like rewarding to yourself too, right? You know, because then everybody gets something that they want. You know, it was kind of like, okay, you just bought something for yourself that, you know, like money wise, that you may not have bought, which I mean, that's definitely a really good thing, but I just also feel like the stress to impress people.
Right. I mean, to me, it's like the forced gift giving, right? It's like at this time of year, right on this day, you have to give a gift to these people, right? And the whole purpose behind a gift is to really, it's supposed to be really personal. Like, it's not just about that holiday. It's supposed to be something that you want to give to somebody, or something that they need or they want or they asked for, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be given on for any particular reason at all, right? I think those are some of the best gifts, are the little tiny ones that someone who knows you really well, just out of nowhere for no reason at all says, I saw this and I thought of you, so here, right? That's the most meaningful kind of gift, because it was really for no reason at all. And so the gifts that we buy for the holidays are almost, they're forced gifts, so that they're not coming from that feeling, right? They're not coming from that natural feeling. I want to talk about like some of it, because I feel like in order to really participate in the holidays with a lot of our families, we do have to do some of this stuff, this nonsense that doesn't make sense to us, like this gift giving stuff. And I see Michelle has said in the chat, talking about homemade and home crafted stuff, right? And that's a really great way to be thinking about when you have to do holidays for, like your family, and it's not necessarily something that you're feeling emotionally drawn to doing, right? You kind of have to do it to participate with the family. So a lot of great ways to do that while being budget friendly are to make things yourself, right? Instead of going and buying retail. So you can buy like a candle making kit and things like that. And you can make candles for 50 people, right? Out of this one kit. And things like that, so that there are other ways that you can think about the spending. But I want to talk about how you guys feel these days, and especially this particular year, about the holidays and holiday spending. Is there anybody who's sort of struggling because it's an odd holiday this year, and maybe you're not doing things you would normally be doing on a regular year?
Oh, we're definitely struggling.
Mm.
But it's so weird, because my husband has assets and he has wealth, but like he kind of like keeps me in the dark about that. So he's always telling me, don't spend, we don't have the money or whatever. And I was laid off, and he actually, I'm lazy. It's probably my fault more than his, but like, I find it very complicated to file the paperwork to get my unemployment check. So I left it up to him to do. And he told me it wasn't worth his bother to do for $33 a week. And it's like, that's my only income. That's the money that I would have spent on gifts and stuff. But it's like, I'm not getting that now because he didn't bother to file it. So it's like, on the one hand, he's telling me, don't spend money, we don't have it. And then on the other hand, he like throws it away like that.
Right.
Michelle, when were you laid off?
May.
So, I mean, it's not $33 a week, right? There's $600 a week from the federal unemployment, and you
I
should
only
get back
got that for that month of May, and then it stopped.
the 600. So yeah, but if you kept
when
getting
the
it,
600 stopped being given out, that's when he stopped filing for me.
okay, got it. And I don't think that's laziness, right? That's more just the executive function too, right? Like, or sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, right?
Right.
I get very anxious about stuff like that, like forms, and particularly done on the computer. And it's odd because my first degree was in business administration accounting, and and he always like throws that in my face and says, you studied to be an accountant, why can't you do this stuff? Well, it was never a good match for me. It's just something I did because I thought that I'd be good at it, and I stuck to the degree because I didn't know you could change your mind. But I suck at it. I didn't make a career out of it. I kept getting fired from jobs and not hired at jobs. So I know I suck at it.
Right.
Well, yeah, forms and anything financial like are really scary. Like, I can't tell you how many people are really afraid of filling out a form or really confused. And it's not, and it's everyone. And so many times I hear people, I don't want to claim this that I'm entitled to, because what if the IRS audits me? I'm like, well, you're entitled to it, right? Like, there's like this, like, such a fear. And what's really unfortunate is there's a lot of people without the fear who just take advantage of the system, right? But I tell people, like, if you think you're doing, like, take everything that you feel that you're entitled for. Like the worst they can do is say no, right? Like, so that's how I feel with forms. I always say too, like, and again, as somebody who fills out financial forms and submits them to people for a living, there's times I fill them out where I know they're wrong. I just don't know how much is wrong. And it's like 40 pages. So rather than spend, like, if I know that they will allow me to fix it, and then they will tell me exactly what's wrong, right? Then it's better to submit the 40-page form for spend and get it back in a day with what needs to be fixed for spend a couple days trying to fix it. So sometimes it's a good idea just to, if you don't understand, just guess, right? Or just put your best. You're not alone. And if you did something wrong, you didn't do it maliciously. Like if you, just didn't understand, the answer to the question.
But the amount of spoons I would waste going online, and because everything had to be filed online, it was just like, it was counterproductive. I was, I would waste like my whole time doing it, and it would blow my mind. Like I can get very emotional over stuff that frustrates me, and like things time out on me and stuff. So, I mean, I know this sounds like excuses, but it's just a really weak point for me. And if I could qualify for services, I would ask that I get services with help with forms and stuff like that, because that is just an area that, I mean, I probably would just not do it and suffer than have to suffer through doing it.
I mean, I think forms for all of us, for any, some of us struggle with the tiny handwriting we have to do on the form. Sometimes
it's not enough room.
Right. And sometimes it's on the computer and it does time out and things like that. And sometimes even the forms that are online are sometimes broken and they don't work right necessarily. Right. And so and it's also, I think that, especially when they're forms about money and forms that like belong to the government or the bank, right? They're somehow convoluted and more like complicated. They ask the questions in a more complicated way than they need to, right? And so I find that that's really difficult. So what I do when I do forms is that I don't do them alone. I try not to completely dump them off onto somebody else, because I know I need to know the information that's on there, and I know I need to at least understand the processing part of it, right? So I do it with somebody, because I realize that so much of my anxiety comes from whether I'm right or wrong, and whether I understand the question and I know what to put in the box, right? Like I don't trust myself. And so I need someone else to go, nope, that's it, you got it, right? Like, nope.
So who do you call for that? Who do you call for that? Who's got the patience to sit with you and do that with you?
Well, there are people like Andrew that will do that if you pay them to do that, right? And other people have family members that do it with them, right? So there are people that will help you if it's a big situation for you and there are many forms you have to do for some reason. Other thing to do is maybe just have a buddy, that someone who you don't mind sharing your personal information with, that you can send it to and say, hey, do you, I'm stuck on this question. Do you have any thoughts? Or can you just look over this and see if I messed it up, right? And so that's another way to alleviate the anxiety without leaving yourself in the dark, or leaving yourself without it going the way that you wanted it to, right? And so I would think about that maybe next time, right? If it's something you definitely want, and maybe to not give up all the control over it, right, to somebody else.
Yeah. Thanks.
But in terms of holiday spending and in terms of holiday budgets and that kind of thing, and the feelings around whether we have to give gifts to people or don't, right? Are you guys feeling like this year you're feeling less of that kind of pressure from the outside world?
I just shop on Amazon. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I just refuse to do this mall shopping for every little friend, every little family member. The only time I'll shop for people is for my niece and godchild. That's the only shopping I'll do, because of the toys and for them.
Right.
And it's just like, I can't stress enough the shopping. But this year I haven't shopped any Christmas gifts for my friends. I've been so slacking on that. I'm like, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not doing any Christmas shopping for my friends this year.
Right? Because it feels different I feel like we all feel like globally the financial pressure, right? From this whole thing. But then on top of it, where, you know, usually you get those gifts because you're going somewhere, right? Like you're going somewhere for the holidays. And so you have to bring gifts for the people that are going to be there, right? And this year there's a whole ton of us that are going nowhere fast, right? We're just not going anywhere. And so I really think that this year is a really good year to think about who you usually buy gifts for. And when we are kind of in a different reality, maybe that list is smaller, right? And maybe we need to rethink who we feel the outside pressure to buy things for, right? I do think the online shopping 100% has saved my life in terms of gift buying, in terms of browsing and price comparisons, all of that stuff. I would never be able to do that in a store. So I know I could do that online, and I agree. I think that's a great way to take care of it, especially because they'll send it for you even directly where it needs to go and all of that stuff. So it definitely helps us out a lot. But I also can get on there shopping for friends or whatever and see little things for other people, right? And I'm like, oh, this would be good for so-and-so, and this would be good for so-and-so, just along the way. And, you know, then all of a sudden your budget gets big, right? So how do you guys think about who you kind of purchase gifts for? How do you make that decision about who you should buy gifts for and how much around to spend on them?
I actually,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
But I was
please
just,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for me personally, I go by the people I'm really close to. Right now, I live with my family, so those are the people I've actually decided to get gifts for. And everyone else, I consider them friends and everything. But since none of us have gotten gifts for each other, I actually feel like they would. Although I would like to give a gift, I don't want to give an obligation because I don't know for those that have watched The Big Bang Theory, there's actually a scene where Penny gives Sheldon a gift, and Sheldon tells him, "Well, you haven't given me a gift. You given me an obligation. Now I have to go buy something for you." And so that's
Right.
kind of that's kind of what I'm in there. But I'm not trying to say you shouldn't give at all, but I just don't want to make anyone feel obligated. But the people I know
It's a
close to,
weird line, right? It's hard sometimes to make that decision.
And I mean,
Yep.
one thing that I find is so that we do with like siblings or family is that we just all agree as a family that we're not going to give, you know, more than a certain dollar amount, right, for gifts. And I mean, okay, if one person does a little bit over, like who would know? But then you don't feel like obligated. Everyone kind of has a rule to kind of follow. So, you know I have to buy $30 worth of gifts for this person. They have an Amazon wish list. I know I'm going to get $30 stuff off my Amazon wish list, you know. And actually, funny story, because if you can't tell, I seem to have fun around gift giving in the holidays because I hate it so much. But I was told I needed an Amazon wish list because it would be a good way for people to find gifts for me, because apparently I'm just really hard to buy gifts for. So I searched Amazon and I tried to find the weirdest things possible. like a Nicolas Cage shower curtain.
Oh, that's
right?
fantastic.
And
Wait,
I found
hold up.
weirder things than that.
Why
That's
a
nothing.
Nicolas Cage? He's the worst actor.
That's the whole point, though. Exactly. You are correct. He is the absolute worst. That's why. And then there was like, I can't even remember. Like there was just like some like, I again, just absolutely ridiculous stuff. I actually checked it again. I should update with some more like, a Donald Trump chia pet, right? Was one of them. I haven't got that, thank God. But so then I have never been asked to update my Amazon wish list again, because then when people did go to check it, they had that's what was there. So
yeah.
Did anybody question you on that?
no, somebody did get me one thing off the list. So, which
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah, kind of backfire a little bit, but anyway, yeah, I should, but it was just kind of the point and be a little stubborn and say, I really don't like this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because you requested it. And, So yeah, a little impressive to the person who actually bought it for me. I think there's a Nicolas Cage pillowcase on there too. Again, I never want anybody to get me any of this. The idea was it was just so ridiculous.
To get you a Nicolas Cage, what are those things? Those things that you snuggies.
Oh,
I'm sure there's some weird snuggies. I can't remember. There was just like other, I can't remember. It was just like weird stuff. So anyway, that was the goal with what I was doing. So
I don't know. I was just thinking about all the different ways that I've had to deal with people and their desire to give gifts and get gifts and this whole gifting situation. And I remember one year that I got so frustrated with like, especially on my birthday, I guess, because I feel like it's like just such a random thing. And I just, I don't understand why people feel the need to get you things that you don't need or want, right? That somehow like you should have these things. And so I eventually decided that if people really felt the need to spend money on me, that they needed to donate to like my cause of the year or whatever it was. So that was one of the ways that I kind of got out of gift giving and getting, because you can't really be disappointed in people if they support your charity of choice and things like that. But it was a great way to let them do what made them feel good, but not have to feel obligated myself, not feel like, look, if you want to do this thing, you want to give me a gift, go ahead, give it to these people though, right? Give it to this organization. So that's another way I've gotten around it. But I keep a very small bubble myself, so I don't have this problem so much anymore about gift giving. I only think we have to buy for like 4 people a year. And so I don't struggle with it as much. And now that I live where I live, I don't have to go anywhere either. So this year, I feel like I'm getting off easy and without questions because everybody's sort of doing an odd Christmas this year, odd holidays, right?
now question. Does anyone here really actually like giving gifts? Because there are people who are. I remember
I do.
my grandmother would give me gifts on her birthday.
Right.
Right? Like there's people who just really like giving gifts and they put a lot of like pride and effort into it.
Yeah,
And
I
then
do. And I wrap them special too.
See, I like giving gifts. I don't like getting gifts.
But don't people feel obligated to
Yes,
give you
and
something?
so I don't give gifts
I mean,
that much
yeah,
anymore because
because
I
if
don't
it's,
want them
like,
back, right?
homemade,
Like
I
that's
mean, like, sorry, but
Go
like
ahead.
I'm saying, like if it's homemade, the gift is like homemade that you especially did,
right.
then yeah, it means something to that person you're giving it to.
Exactly.
Not necessarily, but you hope it does.
Right.
You know, I made a painting for my in-laws when we were first married, and it ended up on the floor in a closet.
Well,
You know, so you know they don't. You can't really tell what people are going to appreciate.
Right. It's true.
So
See, for me, gifts, whether or not I like them, it depends on where they come from and the intention behind someone giving a gift. If somebody's doing it because they want me to feel happy and have a kind intention behind it, I can pretty much learn to like any gift, even if it's something I don't like. If I know the intentions behind it are kind, I can still appreciate the gesture. What I don't like is if someone is doing it for ulterior motives because they're doing it because they want something bad. For instance, if somebody wanted to take something from me and they were giving me a gift hoping that would obligate me to take something from them, then that would be very unacceptable.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the intention behind what they do. That's to me what matters more than anything else.
and not just with gift giving, Ted, like with life in general, right? Like that matters so much. So when I was, 18, 19, and my father got remarried to my stepmother, she didn't want me living with her for no particular reason, right? Other than she's a bitch. And so for Hanukkah one year, and again, like I was struggling to live on my own, like what 17, 18-year-old like is basically, and I wasn't like necessarily kicked out. It was just like, they're like, no, we just don't want you here, right? You have a room that you can't stay in though, that's empty, like anyway. So I was coming over a lot, right? Because I'm like 18. And so they got me, and what's so funny about it, they got me a duffel bag. And
Okay,
Like-
remind me.
because-
Okay, hang on. Can you tell me
That's
what a
like a
duffel
big
bag?
F you to the face and saying like,
Oh, but
"Goodbye,
here's the
get
funny
out."
part.
Hey, hang on,
My
guys. I don't know what a duffel bag is. Can you please explain
Oh.
it to me?
It's
'Cause-
luggage, like a suitcase.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it's a
I
big
was
hit to
confused
move
there
out.
because
So they're like, you're coming over here so much because, we want to live our life and we don't want you around. And so, here's a suitcase for you. And my dad went on for like 10 minutes about how it was a really nice suitcase. And I was just like, I actually think to this day my father didn't get it, but my stepmother did it on purpose.
Oh,
my father
even
actually-
worse.
Yeah, I know. Whatever it was, because I think my father was actually like really proud. Like it was like a really nice like duffel bag or a gift. And like, sure, like maybe if I had but again, like intent matters. Like the whole reason they got it
Did
for
you
me
ask
was
him
like,
where was the trip to go with it?
no, they
He
said
should've
it was
provided you with a
because,
trip, like a vacation.
no, they said it was because I was coming over their house so much.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
that
that was
stepmother
really
does
bad.
not deserve your father. Right?
Yeah. So
Well, I love to give gifts, and I love to
Don't
put
give a
a lot
duffel
of thought
bag.
into it. And my son's girlfriend is like, she's like, "Oh, you don't have to buy me anything." And like last year for Christmas, she's like, "All I want is money." And I felt like really frustrated because that seems so impersonal. So what I did is I got a book on dollar origami, and I folded up like $50 and $20 bills to like make a butterfly and like and a ring, and I put them in like jewelry boxes and wrapped them up really nice. I even like
Aw.
made like very like velvet gift bags to put them in and stuff like that, just because I wanted it to seem like I put some thought into it, not because money just seems so impersonal and like an afterthought kind of thing. So I wanted it to feel like I put some effort into it. And I also like it when like we have, even if they're just small gifts, I like it when we have lots of gifts to unwrap on Christmas Day, because it kind of like makes the festivities go a little longer. So
Mhm.
instead of giving her a bunch of money or a check in just one envelope, I did the little tiny things like that. And she had so much fun unwrapping them. And she's like, "Oh, you are so cool. You're like the best gift giver ever." And that's exactly what I was hoping to, the
Right.
result I was hoping to get.
And
That's
last question.
Michelle.
How about-
There's
Well,
a lot of
I,
that.
I,
But what's really hard is there's
I have
some
a
people
story.
who really don't want gifts, and then there's people who are testing you. I feel like, and I'm not attempting to be sexist here, but I feel like the stereotype is it's like women saying like, "Oh, I really don't want anything," when they do, but really everyone does that, right?
Mm.
But it's true, like I really don't want something, and then that's really hard too, because then somebody says, "Oh, I don't want something," but there's this unwritten social cue where you're still expected to do something
Right.
anyway. And I think that's also really frustrating for us.
That is
You know what the
really
problem is?
I have a
I think
story.
some people are not aware that they want something. They think they don't, but then they realize they are wrong. Sorry,
Right.
Daniel, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yep.
Well,
Go ahead, Daniel.
My parents had a story where apparently one of the Christmases, my dad bought my mom a Cuisinart, like the food processor.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought my dad thought it was a nice gift. My mom like totally like, I guess she was like crying or something. She didn't want, like she took offense to it, and like she really wanted it, and like it was one of those things where it's like one of those gifts where like although it's a nice gift, it like had a different meaning.
I
You
can
know,
certainly
guys-
understand what she was feeling, because it's sort of like saying, "I only see you in the role of the slave who prepares my food."
yeah. And my
And she
dad,
was
vacuum.
hoping for maybe something more personal, something more romantic, or something, something to be acknowledged as a human being, not a slave,
yeah, and that's not what my dad's intention was, but like
Huh?
he's just, well, I think my dad, like I think he used to be more, I think my dad had some, I guess some like autistic kind of tendencies, so I think I kind of got it, I think, from him. So but I think that was
My
one of
husband
those
gave me a
situations.
vacuum cleaner one year for Christmas, so I definitely know how she feels about the Cuisinart.
However, I am told that a very fancy Roomba is an appropriate vacuum cleaner, and that
As
is
a
an
gift.
exception. Yeah. Like a nice Roomba, because then you're it's almost like a vacation, like you're taking work away, right?
Yeah.
You're not giving something
And it's also
Bad
cool.
for allergies because they're constantly kicking the dust into the air. And if you have dogs, they might chew it apart.
Oh, I actually spent $1,500 like on a Kirby vacuum for my parents from somebody I used to live with, and they're like, "Oh, we have one of those. We don't even still have it in our attic." So I ended up taking it, and I barely even use it. So I spent a lot of money on the stupid vacuum. Well, because it was supposed to be like an allergy thing, and they're like, "Oh, well, thanks for the offer, but we actually don't want to," because they had like a central vac. They're like, "We don't want that." I was like, "Well, still I can't return it." Like, it came with everything. I think they have most of the parts.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah.
What about good gift experiences? You guys have any good gift experiences where someone
One
got it
time
right?
I was 8, I went over to my mother's friend's house, and she left these 2 paper bags of gifts for both me and my brother. And at the time, I still believed in Santa, and she even said, "Yeah, I set these out here, though. The real Santa, of course, doesn't come till tonight." Well, one of the gifts that was in that bag was a Jacob's ladder in color, and I had seen one of those at a friend's birthday party years ago, thinking, "Wow, this is so cool! Well, I've always wanted one of these." I was really happy to get that at the time, because I remember thinking I wasn't even expecting that, but I was really happy to get that particular gift.
That's awesome. Anybody else have one to share?
My best gift, which was probably going to sound pathetic because, I'm like 54 years old, but my best gift was when I was a child. I was, a nerdy, unaccepted child, and there was a bully girl across the street who had this really great dollhouse, and I would put up with being treated like crap by her because I wanted to play with her dollhouse. And my mom actually made me my own dollhouse, and she managed to do it in secret, so that it was like a complete total surprise to me. It was like Barbie doll size. I had real stairs and everything, and that was like the best gift I ever received. And I was probably like 8 or 9 years old at the time.
Nice.
And
I
I've
guess
never
you never went over to the
gift
friend
that I
after that.
All right. Anybody else have a good gift story? Isn't it interesting? I think it's so interesting that if I was to think about my best gifts, or my best memories about getting gifts, it would all be from when I was a little kid. So what does it tell us about buying presents for adults? It tells me a whole lot.
Well, for me personally, I like spending time with people, and that matters to me more than gifts. Now, don't get me wrong, I still like gifts that people can think are good ones. And again, if I know people have kind intentions behind gifts, I always appreciate them. It's just, it's becoming harder for me to come up with ideas as to what I want.
Right.
As
And
far
I
as
feel like that
materials,
happens to us in adulthood, right?
Yeah,
Like when I was a little kid, if someone asked me what I wanted as a gift, I probably would have had a list like forever long, right? But as an adult, when someone asks you, it's sort of like, well, if there's anything that I needed or wanted, I bought it for myself. So no,
actually, I have another story.
Yeah, go ahead, Daniel.
I bought my my nephew I don't know if I have it over here. Well, if you can see it, I actually got it at a convention, but it's like this guy.
Oh, here's your hand, Dan.
Oh, this guy right here. He's
Oh.
He's like a backpack that straps on your back. And I actually got this for my niece. She actually likes unicorn. It kind of looks like unicorn, but I got it for him, and I guess he wasn't feeling too good that day. I guess he was being kind of tantrumy. So he opened it up and he just took it and he just threw it on the ground. Like we're doing FaceTime, and he just threw it on the ground.
Oh,
And I'm
no.
like, oh no. But I guess he picked it up later on. And then I also got him another thing, like a dinosaur, from what was that, from Build-A-Bear. And I had I put like a scent in it. I put a little like a roaring sound on his feet, and the other one, the little voice thing that said I love you, James. And I had a little heartbeat when you hug it. It has a little heartbeat, which apparently he takes from the bed now. But when we do the FaceTime, my sister said, "Oh, you can open up one present." we're gonna open up later. And apparently he went and opened up my present
Oh.
before the FaceTime. So like there was the one present he opened was mine. And it
Oh.
was like, oh no. But fortunately, he did show me it, but like it was just like, oh come on.
Oh. All right. Well, I think that's probably about it for us today. We
Yeah.
had a little chat
Yeah.
surrounding gifts, gift giving, right? And kind of how we all think about it. It's interesting. Hopefully some non-autistics will watch and maybe they'll get that we don't really like gifts.
And hopefully
Yeah.
my aunt does not. So
I like them and I like giving them. So that's not a blanket statement for all autistics.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
I
Just
Correct.
hope people don't get bad intentions and start doing things that are bad, because that's what concerns me more than anything else.
right.
I think that was brilliant. So,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, you
well,
guys.
yeah, next month we're gonna have a guest and it's gonna be, really fun. So,
Oh boy.
And of course, if you guys have any other ideas, thoughts, questions, whatever, you can get in touch with us and let us know if you have any suggestions of topics, things you'd like us to discuss, right? We've got the whole year coming up. And so besides January's guests, I'm sure we'll have other guests as well, but I'd love to know what kinds of things you guys would like to talk about. So feel free to email me at
Guess the guest.
info@beckalaurie.com and you can send them in to me, or I guess you can comment on some, there's gotta be someplace that we can have people comment besides
your
my YouTube where I put up the
yeah,
video.
YouTube.
On meetups.
Yeah.
Yep, meetups, YouTube. However you want to tell us, just tell us.
Yep.
So,
All right, you guys. Well, have an amazing holiday. We won't see you until January. So have a good holiday, a good new year. Do some fun stuff.
See you
Create
next
joy
year.
for yourselves, right?
yep.
Enjoy your holidays, everyone. Be safe.
Yeah.
Be safe.
See you next
Bye.
year.
Bye.
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 But